good day po everyone. So this my topic is about primary historical sources cited by Rizal. So Rizal's most powerful tactic was to use the writings of early Spanish chroniclers to show what Filipino society was like before the full effects of colonization had set in. So meron pong isang source si Rizal way back before, which is si Antonio de Morga's Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas, or Events in the Philippine Islands, which is in 1609. So bakit nga ba true source si Morga? So sabi nga dito, Morga was not a friar or a missionary but a high-ranking royal official. So isa daw siyang high-ranking royal official and isa siyang judge sa Real Audiencia sa Pilipinas. So his account is considered more secular and objective than the religious chronicles. So si Rizal daw nag-considered sa mga work ni Morga na crucial. So crucial daw yung mga work ni Morga kasi nag-spend daw siya ng mga ilang months sa British Museum. So tinatay niyang, sabi din dito, copying, annotating it by hand for publication.
The indolence of the Filipinos. When Jose Rizal sought to awaken the Filipino spirit, he didn't just write novels, he became a historian. His goal, to dismantle the Spanish colonial narrative that Filipinos were uncivilized savages before they arrived. To do this, he found a secret weapon, a 280-year-old book written by a high-ranking Spanish official. The book was Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas, written in 1609 by Antonio de Morga. Morga wasn't just any writer. He was a judge of the Royal Audiencia, the highest court in the land. His book was a detailed, first-hand account of the early Philippines. Rizal painstakingly republished it, but with a crucial addition: his own annotations. He used Morga's own words to paint a picture of a thriving, pre-colonial Philippines. So, what did Rizal highlight from Morga's books? First, shipbuilding and seafaring. Morga himself described how Filipinos were expert sailors and master boat builders, crafting vessels for everything from trade to warfare. Long before the Spanish galleons, Filipinos were already masters of their seas. Second, agriculture and mining. Morga noted the widespread and abundant farming. But more than that, he documented the richness of the islands, specifically the abundance of gold mines and the exceptional skill of the natives in metalworking, crafting intricate jewelry and tools. Third, trade with other nations. The Philippines wasn't an isolated archipelago. Morga's book detailed extensive trade relationships with powerful neighbors like China, Japan, and kingdoms in Borneo and Siam. Filipinos were active participants in a bustling Asian trade network. By annotating Morga's work, Rizal did more than correct history. He restored a sense of national pride. He gave Filipinos a powerful glimpse of their glorious past to inspire them to fight for a better future. He showed them that their identity was not something given to them by colonizers, but something that was already theirs, rich and worthy of reclaiming.
Antonio Figapetta, Chronicle of the Magallanes Expedition. why it is a true source. Pigafetta was the official chronicle of the Ferdinand Magellan, the first global. He was eyewitness to the very interaction between European and the people of the Visayas. Antonio Pigafetta was the principal chronicle of the Magellan Elcano expedition, which was the first global from the 1590 to the 1522. His detailed journeys are a primary source of knowledge about the expedition, including the discovery of the Strait of the Magellan, the first crossing of the Pacific Ocean, and the arrival in the Philippines. Pigafetta went behind merely recording the journey's progress. His interest in culture and language positioned him as an early anthropologist. He studied the culture, lifestyle, and the language of the people. Expedition encounter include Brazil, Patagonia, and the Philippines. Pigafetta unique travel journey. Pigafetta stands out due to its rich detail. He passionately wrote about food, eating habits, ceremonies, and wines, showcase his enjoyments of this aspect of travel. For example, he provides detailed description of the account and its uses in the Philippines. Pigafetta's vocabulary samples. Pigafetta recording sample vocabularies of the language they encountered, from the Topi people in Brazil to the Chronicles in the Gomon. These language samples provide early knowledge of those language and offers insight into the mind of the 16th century Europeans. Pigafetta's loyalty and the post-vintage activities. Pigafetta was a loyal confidant of Magellan and greatly admired him. He was among those who fought alongside Magellan at the Battle of Mactan in the Philippines, where Magellan was killed after returning to Spain. Pigafetta shared his story, eventually processing his journey to King Portugal, Queen Mother of Mary, Louis of Servant in France, and Pope Clement in Roman. His effort helped establish Magellan as a driving force behind the first and the last.
In the essay, The Indolence of Filipino, Jose Rizal wrote about what Pigafetta's account had described to give a fight to what the colonists claimed. Pigafetta's account described the courtesy, abundancy of food, and existing trade system he encountered in 1521. He noted the locals' familiarity with trading and their possession of goods, which proved they were not isolated or lazy savage. Ayon sa ulat ni Antonio Pigafetta noong 1521 kasama ni Magellan sa paglalakbay, nakita niya ang mga katutubong Pilipino ay magalang, mayaman sa pagkain at marunong makikipagkalakalan o mag-trade ng mga produkto tulad ng niyog, baboy at kambing. Dahil dito, napatunayan ni Dr. Jose Rizal na mali ang sinasabi ng mga Espanyol na tamad at mangmang ang mga Pilipino noon. Sa halip, ipinakita ng tala ni Pigafetta na ang mga ninuno natin ay masisipag, maunlad at marunong makipag-ugnayan sa ibang tao o bansa. Ginamit ni Rizal ang obserbasyong ito para ipakita ang mga Pilipino noon ay masipag at maunlad na may sariling sistema ng kalakalan at hindi tamad o mababang uri ng tao gaya ng sinabi ng mga Espanyol noon. Halimbawa, may mga Pilipino noon na nakikipagpalitan ng produkto tulad ng bigas, kapalit ng tela o bakal mula sa mga dayuhan. Ipinapakita nito na marunong silang makipagkalakalan at hindi sila mga tamad, gaya ng maling paniniwala ng mga mananakop.
Other Spanish chronicles and reports. So, Rizal also referenced other early Spanish accounts written by historians and missionaries, such as Quirino, Colin, and Gaspar de San Agustin, to strengthen and piece together his historical arguments. These sources provided valuable insight about the condition of the Philippines before and during the Spanish colonization. Although Rizal was aware of the biases and limitations of these religious writers, who often portrayed the natives in a negative or inferior light, he did not simply reject their works. Instead, he carefully analyzed their writings and extracted truthful and factual information that supported his own interpretation. Through this method, Rizal was able to build a more balanced and well-supported thesis about the richness of the pre-colonial Filipino economy, culture, and society, as well as the harmful and devastating effects brought by the Spanish conquest and colonization. His use of these chronicles demonstrated not only his deep historical understanding, but also his skill in critical thinking and fair analysis of sources.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. So, my report is about the wars and depopulation during the Spanish colonial period. So, yung fact is, Spanish colonial government is kasi sila. Mahilig sila mag-expedition, ganun, magpunta-punta sa iba't ibang lugar upang mag-explore, ganun. So, mag-explore at manakop, ganun siya. So, marami silang mga nakaaway, kagaya ng Portugal, yung Dutch, pati nag-conduct din sila ng maraming expedition sa laban sa mga Muslim dito sa Mindanao and yung mga pirata sa Sulu. So, yung argument ni Rizal is yung mga wars na ito is constant. So, kailangan nila ng maraming tauhan, ganun, maraming fighters. So, ang ginawa nila is force, meron silang force recruitment na ginawa. So, ayun yung mga Pilipino yung ginamit nila para ilaban sa iba't ibang lugar, ganun. So, ginawa nila yung to fight this war, the government conscripted thousands of Filipino men. So, yung force recruitment na to is kinuha yung mga mostly kalalakihan, ganun. Hindi mostly pala, lahat talaga, yung mga lalaki, ganyan. Para ilaban sa, sa kalaban nila. So, yung nangyari dito is parang naging civil war, ganyan. Pero, meron din sila mga Pilipino na dinadala sa ibang lugar. So, ito yung mga tao is mga Pilipino ay parang pinilit silang kunin sa lugar nila yung mga farmers from their fields and artisans from their crafts, leading to death. So, maraming namatay doon during that time. Maraming namatay na mga kalalakihang Pilipino. So, nag-decrease talaga yung male population dito sa Pilipinas during that time. So, yun lang po at
Everyone, my name is Joel M. Torres. Polio is servisyo, forced labor. The fact, this was a system of compulsory labor for all Filipino men from 16 to 60 years old. They were forced to work for 40 days a year, later reduced to 15 on government project. Rizal argument: this was one of the most attractive politicians. Men were taken from their village to cut timber in the mountain and build the famous Manila Galleon. These work arguments are often unpaid and took place from their home and result in the abandonment of farm, which led to famine. The immense effort yielded on personal benefit, crushing any incentive to work.
The galleon trade. The fact the Spanish government focused almost exclusively on the Manila-Acapulco galleon trade, a government monopoly. All other forms of trade, especially inter-island and regional commerce that had thrived for centuries, were neglected and actively discouraged. Rizal argument: this isolation policy killed the native industry where weave, cloth, or craft goods where there was replaced by two. The variant and multifaceted pre-colonial economy was replaced by a system that benefited only a few Spanish officials and merchants in Manila.
Hi everyone, my topic is about lack of government protection and justice. The fact the colonial administration was often inefficient and corrupt. It failed to protect coastal towns from pirate trades and could not provide a fair justice system. Rizal's arguments: farmers and merchants who managed to produce a surplus were easy targets for pirates or corrupt local officials and commanders. With no security for the property and no recourse in the courts, the logical conclusion was to produce only enough to survive. Working hard to accumulate wealth was an invitation for it to be stolen. In conclusion, Rizal's essay is not more opinion. It is a work of historical analysis, grounded in primary sources, many of them Spanish and clear-eyed critique of the documented social-economic policies of the colonial regime.
Ang bayan kong Pilipinas, lupain ng ginto't bulaklak, pag-ibig na sa kanyang palad, nag-alay ng ganda't dilag, at sa kanyang yumi at ganda, dayuhan ay nahalina. Bayan ko, binihag ka, nasadlak sa dusa.